Hi guys, Kai here and welcome back. Today we are going to be doing our Premier League predictions for the new season 2019-2020, which actually kicks off later this evening with Norwich and Liverpool. Liverpool should be winning that one, but we'll see how they get on. Now, as you can see, 20th place, I have gone with Sheffield United. They were the runners-up in the Championship last season, but I think they're going to be finishing in the very bottom. So relegation for Sheffield United, brought a few players in. But I don't think it's going to be enough there for Sheffield United. So next up is Brighton and Hove Albion. I think these will be getting relegated. They've only brought in a handful of players, to be honest, so I don't think they've made enough changes to stay up. So I think Brighton and Hove Albion will be finishing in 19th place. They did finish in 17th last season, which kept them up, of course, but I think Brighton and Hove Albion will be another team going straight down. So who is the final team? It is Crystal Palace. I've gone with Palace, even though they've actually been able to keep hold of Wilfried Zaha. He's not very happy that he's had to stay, but it's a good coup for Crystal Palace, which could actually keep them up. But I feel they are going to be going down. I actually did record this before the transfer window closed, but I believe that Wilfried Zaha will be staying. I was hoping that he'd be leaving to Everton, but I think Alex Iwobi is going to Everton now. But let's move on then. Safe, I'm going to put Burnley. They're going to be staying safe. Jay Rodriguez has come in. Eric Peters coming from Stoke City. Danny Drinkwater as well on the transfer deadline day. So we'll see how they get on. I think they should just stay up. It could be a toss between Crystal Palace and Burnley for that final relegation spot, but I think it is going to be Palace who go down and Burnley stay up. Norwich City also very big contenders for the relegation. Of course, they haven't really brought anybody in, to be honest. Let's just have a look at their squad. I cannot find them on my other screen, but I think they've not done enough dealings in the transfer window. They were the champions, of course, of the Championship last season, played some great football. But I think it is going to be Norwich City who stay up into 16th place, just above Burnley and Crystal Palace. So another team which came up, who I think will stay up, the playoff winners from last season, Aston Villa. They are predicted to finish in 15th place. Now, these are a team who have been spending quite a lot this season. So I think they will stay up. I don't think they're going to do the same as what Fulham did last year. Fulham spent over 100 million, I think it was. Aston Villa have spent over that as well. But I think they are going to do a lot better than Fulham did. So moving on, and it is Bournemouth into 14th. Last season they finished in 14th place, so I'm going to say a similar kind of area for them yet again. I'm just looking on my second screen at their transfers. Not a lot, to be honest, but they have brought in Danjuma. He was over 10 million. Harry Wilson, he's coming on loan as well, which could help them. He was out on loan at Derby County last season. So I think Bournemouth are going to have a pretty similar season as they did last year. So next up is Watford, and I put them into 13th place. Last season they finished in 11th. Now I think that these could finish much higher than I have actually predicted them at 13th, because they made quite a few good dealings on transfer deadline day. They brought in Danny Welbeck, of course, Ismail Assar as well from Stade Rennes, £27 million player. Some good players come in, so I think they could finish higher, much higher than the 13th, and I've actually given them, maybe even get themselves into the top 10. But for me, 13th place. Next up into 12th place is Southampton. And now Southampton didn't have a great season last year, did they? They finished in 16th place, but I'm hoping that they do a little bit better this year. So I'm going to put them into 12th place. Brought in Danny Ings, of course, returning to them. Shea Adams has also joined from Birmingham City, both fairly young. Danny Ings only 26 years old. Everybody thinks he's older than he actually is, but I think he's going to be a good signing there for Southampton. So plenty of goals for the Saints, I believe. Now Newcastle United, they start their season against Arsenal, but I'm obviously an Arsenal fan, so I'm hoping that they lose against the Arsenal on Sunday. They've brought in some good players, of course. Saint Maximin from Nice, Joelinton from Hoffenheim, Emil Kraft as well in defence, and Jethro Williams as well. But I'm going to put them into 11th place. Last season they finished in 13th, but I think they will have a better season this year. We'll have to wait and see. So into the top 10 we go, and West Ham United are in there for me. And they did finish 10th last season, as you can see there. They haven't really done too much in the transfer window. I think they brought in 4 or 5 players, and could be 1 or 2 more, but they didn't really need to change too much. So they've got a fairly decent squad already, and we'll have to see how the new players do. I'm sure they're going to be doing, getting a lot more goals, of course, and hoping for themselves that they'll be pushing for a Europa League spot. So into 9th place, and I've gone with Leicester City. As you can see, they also finished 9th last season, so a same prediction as last year for Leicester. They brought in some good players. Jose Perez from Newcastle United, Dennis Pratt they got on transfer deadline day, and Yuri Tillemans, of course, bringing him in from Monaco. So some good signs there from Leicester City. Again, could be pushing for these Europa League spaces, but for me, I'm going to put the Foxes in 9th place. So into 8th is Everton. Now, Everton have made quite a few changes this season. They brought in Alex Iwobi from Arsenal. They brought in Moise Kean as well from Juventus. Andre Gomez from Barcelona. Fabian Delph from Manchester City. Sidibe from Monaco. So obviously, I predicted them as finishing in 8th. They finished in 8th last season as well. So we've gone on quite a few runs here, the same as they finished last season, but that doesn't matter. I think Everton could be pushing for a little bit higher and maybe even getting past Wolves. Wolves predicted to finish in 7th. Last season they finished in 7th. Are they going to do the same again this season? They could drop off a little bit. They have made a few changes, spent a little bit of money. I think they spent close to 60 or maybe even more than that actually. Raul Jimenez, Neto, Cutrone, then Docker, Jordao have all come in for Wolverhampton Wanderers. So again, another team will be up or around there, battling for the Europa League spaces. Could go down below Everton, but we'll wait and see. So next up for me is Chelsea. Now Chelsea obviously in a transfer ban, and they've lost Eden Hazard to Real Madrid. I put them into 6th place last season. Obviously they finished 3rd, but I think they are going to drop off quite a lot this season. And they obviously also lost David Luiz on the last day of the season to Arsenal. So a little bit of a drop there for Chelsea. Still could surprise and finish in the top 4, but for me, 6th place finish for the Blues. So next up, who goes into the top 5? It is Tottenham. I think they will be dropping down as well. I don't think they really made that many changes in the summer. They brought in Ndombele, of course, Ryan Sessegnon from Fulham. They did get the loanee from Real Betis, who was it? Giovanni Lo Celso. So we'll see how he gets on. And also Jack Clark as well, the youngster from Leeds United. But I think for me, 5th place for Tottenham, dropping down out of the Champions League spaces. And let's see, who have I put in 4th place? It is Manchester United. Man United obviously lost Lukaku on the deadline day. He went to Inter Milan it was. And they failed to bring anybody in. They were linked with Dybala at the last day of the season, but last day of the transfer window, but they was unable to bring him in. They did bring in Harry Maguire from Leicester City for a lot of money. Wan-Bissaka as well from Crystal Palace earlier in the summer. So I think those two signs alone will help Manchester United get themselves into that top 4. And now we've put Liverpool into the 3rd place, dropping down 1 spot from last season. Runs up, had a great season all year to be honest, but again they are a team who have not really bought anybody in either. So I could see them not so much struggling, but struggling to keep up the pace with the top 2. And of course, being an Arsenal fan, I've got to be a little bit biased here, especially with the transfer window, which Arsenal have had. So as you can see, into 2nd place is Arsenal. Of course, it's going to be Arsenal. Arsenal made quite a few changes this year. Last season, finishing 5th, disappointing to miss out on the Champions League spaces. But we brought in Martinelli, David Luiz on the transfer deadline day, along with Kieran Tierney. Saliba, he's out on loan, of course, and of course the big money signing Nicolas Pepe, who I think will all help Arsenal progress on and hopefully at the very least get us into the top 4. But for me, because I'm biased, I'm going to shove them in 2nd place. So top spot obviously belongs to Manchester City. Now they have brought in some good players. Cancelo from Juventus, of course. Who else did they bring in? Just looking at my other screen here. Rodri, of course, a lot of money there. Angelino, Porro, and Zach Steffen as well from Columbus Crew, goalkeeper. And obviously Scott Carson as well. So I think it's going to be a championship winning season for Manchester City yet again. Hopefully though it's going to be a different team. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully Arsenal can push on and claim that top spot this year. I think we'll still be off the pace a little bit, but Manchester City for me, Premier League champions. Let me know below guys who you think is going to win the championship and who you think is going to be the bottom 3 as well. So thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.